Good afternoon. Let me express my appreciation for the opportunity to help to celebrate Esmay's life and to share our grief at her passing. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Don Panton. I am the grandson of Esmay, affectionately called Granny, that she did not have, at least biologically. This afternoon we are here gathered to pay our last respect to Esmay, Granny Hartley, a child of God, a wonderful human being, a mother, a grandmother, a friend, a good Samaritan, but best of all, a child of God. Granny entered the stage of life 97 years ago, approximately 27 years more than what was promised to us human beings. And in these years that she was granted the health and strength to act on this mortal stage, she played her part very well, showing us what it means to deny herself for the sake of putting the needs of others above her own. When death is the reason that you have to speak on behalf of a loved one or a family member, given the emotional situation, it is not easy to find words that adequately capture the essence and the beauty of that person and their invaluable contribution to the many lives that they touch. I first met Granny 40 years ago when, as a young man, became homeless. As a matter of fact, I became homeless on 3 occasions, and Granny took me in. The first time was in 1974 while still in high school, and right after accepting the Seventh-day Adventist message, the devil launched an attack on me and my family. I was living with my dad at the time, and I became homeless. I will spare you the details of how that came about, just to say that I became homeless. And that's when I met the Reed's family, brother and sister Reed, Burnett, Owen, Sharon, Annette, and Fitzroy. They were living at Fort Hill at the time, which was not far from the Mansion Hill SDA Church. Excuse me, just a little bit emotional as I think about it. And then in 1979, I moved to Kingston, where I was in my first year of fashion designing school and was living with my uncle. It wasn't long after this that the devil renewed his attack on me again. And once again, I became homeless, and Granny took me in again. I had found temporary refuge with a church brother at North Street Estate Church, where I had transferred my membership to. Then one Sabbath morning, I met Owen. And so we got talking, just catching up. And Owen asked me where I was staying and where I was going for lunch. And as hard as it was for me at the time, I had to admit the truth, that I did not have anywhere to go because I had just become homeless again. And I didn't know where I was going to get lunch from. And so Owen told Granny about my plight. And Granny's response was, and those of you who are familiar with our native language will understand, her response was, "You're from Portland, and you know Ruby them, so you're one away." And because of this, Granny said, "Come, my son, there's no way I could leave you behind." That Sabbath, I had lunch with Granny, Owen, Sharon, and within a few days, I was no longer homeless, at least not for the time being. The space at Paradise Street where Granny, Owen, Sharon, and Brother Reed occasionally was living was already full. But Granny found space for one more, and that was me. When I think of Granny, I remember her warm smile and cheerful laughter. I can picture her with a plait of hair that would not stay where she put it, sticking out all the time. Granny wasn't a lazy person. She was always active, never a complainer. Granny had a generous soul, as I'm sure some of you here and all of her grandchildren can attest to. She never met a person that she did not find, a person in need, that she did not find some way of helping. And I know that personally. She worked for the Ellison Road Police doing laundry, but still made time for her family, including me, so that we could have a place to rest our heads and food to eat and stay together until we could get on our feet, for some of us to get back on our feet. I say family and included myself with all seriousness because she didn't just take me in. She took me into her heart and kept contact with me even after my life was back on track. The power of her generosity and the graciousness of her hospitality allowed me to focus on how blessed I was to be the recipient of such marvelous love that left me very little time to wallow in self-pity. What might have been viewed as an unfortunate situation for me turned out to be an opportunity to experience how good and awesome our sovereign God is when he asks us to trust him with our every cares. God cares for us, all of us, as a father loves his children. For this reason, I can say that though Granny never walked the red carpet or had servants waiting on her, she was once, twice, 3 times my hero. And she deserves a crown with many dazzling stars. Granny was an economist. She knew how to work miracles with the skimpy or meager salary that she got from working for the Ellison Road Police. And any one of you who knows a police, really know a police, especially a blue seam police or the 2-stripe red seam police who has not yet made it to detective or the rank of sergeant, know them how them no leg of money. At Paradise Street, times were hard and things were tough. I remember some mornings when I asked Granny what was for breakfast, and she would send me to pick a couple of lime leaves from the tree in the backyard to make them good lime leaf tea, and a few green bananas that she would roast. And off we went to school and some to work. And who would have thought that we could come to see lime tree becoming so famous? Some people label it as lemon tea or honey lemon tea, and proudly sit on the same shelf with all the natural or organic foods commanding a decent price. And as for the green banana, you try to buy one of them bag of Chippies banana chips with them bun up with enough salt and see how much you pay. Granny was an excellent English major with a funny side to her. She now make you get away with spoiling her name. She would let you know that her name is Esmay Hartley, and she would even spell it for you. Today, we lay to rest the body of a lovely woman. She has lived a long and good life, but her goodness will never be forgotten because her good deeds are already written down in the book of remembrance up in heaven. And as I close, I'm reminded of the parable in Luke chapter 10, verses 29 through to 36 of the Good Samaritan. A deeper study of this parable reveals that the Good Samaritan is Jesus, and we are to be like Jesus. We are to be like the Good Samaritan. But there's a reason why Jesus mentioned or introduces the innkeeper. And I believe that we ought to be the innkeeper because of our mission to spread the gospel, which is the good news. It is the gospel of love and meeting people's needs. The message is that Christ brings people into our life for us to care for them. And when he does, he gives us all that we need to care for them. And he said, when I come again, I will repay you. Granny was my innkeeper. She cared for me. And that has helped that has helped to shape my life and is part of who I am today, trying to care for people who are hurting myself. Today, I challenge you to be like Granny and to be a proud innkeeper. You know, grieving a loss is depressing and full of tears, but the precious memories of such a one brings hope and joy beneath a cloud of sorrow. Today, we say goodbye to someone that we dearly love. Esmay Granny Hartley. May her soul rest in peace.